Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, everybody. I hope everybody's day is off to a great start. I'm thankful to be in the land of the living this morning. I'm thankful to be amongst the living this morning. I'm thankful that God woke me up this morning and gave me another chance. So for those of y'all who don't know who I am Grace Amber. Whenever God gives me a word to share, I come on different platforms and I share it with you. So really quick, today I want to talk to y'all today about maintaining freedom. Maintaining freedom. So what am I talking about today? Today I want to talk to you guys about maintaining freedom. I want to give you the scripture first before I jump into this thing. It's Galatians, the 5th chapter, and it's just the first verse. And it reads, "It is for freedom that Christ has set us free. Stand firm then, and do not let yourselves be burdened again by a yoke of slavery." So a lot of times we will find ourselves in disadvantageous situations. We are stuck in toxic relationships. We are stuck on a job that we absolutely hate. We are stuck in a lease that we absolutely want to be out of. We are struggling with the yoke of addiction. We are struggling with the yoke of pornography or gambling or whatever it is, right? We can look up and find ourselves in situations in which we want to be set free, right? And so what we typically do is we typically go to God and we ask him, "Lord, please get me out of here," right? That's our favorite thing to say. Get me out of here. Get me out of this relationship. Get me out of this lease. Get me out of this neighborhood. Get me out of this job. Get me out of this addiction. Get me away from pornography and gambling and whatever it may be, Lord, get me out of here, right? And God sent us Christ to set us free, right? But hey, guess what else sets us free? The truth. "And ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall set you free." Well, guess what? These situations that we want to be set free from, guess what? We played a big part in us being in that situation to begin with. What do I mean? If we are in a toxic relationship that we are begging God to set us free from, right? Guess what? We did some things along the way to put us in that relationship. I'm sure if you go back and look how they say hindsight is 2020, I'm sure that you saw many of red flags along the way to tell you to stop. I'm sure that you saw the stop signs and you chose to ignore them. And then we find ourselves 2 years later begging for God to get us out of this mess that we put ourselves in. Let me give you another example. Me, as a former cigarette smoker, right? Cigarette smoking. We know, we look at the box. They told us when we were children, don't smoke. I was a cigarette smoker since I was 13 years old. And I just stopped smoking cigarettes like maybe about 5 months ago, right? Even with cigarette smoking, something as simple as cigarette smoking, the warnings are there. It's all over the packs. Come on, it's all over the news. It's all over the magazines. It's all over the posters. It's everywhere, right? And so then we chose to ignore the warning signs. It says stop. Don't start, right? But one of the main reasons is not just because of the health implications, but because once you start, it's so hard to stop. Once you get burdened with this yoke of slavery, right? It's so hard to get set free. And so that's why they tell you not just for your health, but also for your well-being to stop, because it's going to be very hard to stop. It tells you to not do it and don't even start, because once you start, it's going to be so hard to stop. Well, we ignore the warnings, right? And then we continue to do this thing. It's all fun and games until the light bulb goes off years later that says, hey, this is something that you shouldn't be doing. And then you want to be set free, and we go to God and we say, God set us free. Yeah, but guess what? There are also things that we did. We ignored the warnings. We ignored the red flags. These are the things that we do as willing participants in being in bondage, right? And so as I'm coming to you today, I want to talk to you guys about how to maintain freedom, right? Because I want you to pay attention to this scripture that I gave you. Listen to it. Galatians, the 5th chapter and the first verse. "It is for freedom that Christ has set us free." Christ set us free for freedom. But check this out. "Stand firm then, and do not let yourselves be burdened again by a yoke of slavery." So as you can see, this is not just all on Christ. It's also something that we have to participate in as well. Just as we participated in getting ourselves yoked in bondage and slavery and bondage to addiction or whatever else it is that we had to beg to get set free from, we participated in that. And so in the same way, we have to participate in maintaining our freedom. It's not just God get us out of here and then we continue doing all the same things. It's God get us out of here, and not just that. Look at the scripture. Help us to stand firm then, and to not let ourselves be burdened again by a yoke of slavery. That is my word for you today, is that as we go to God, which we love to do, and he wants us, because as our Father, he wants us to come to him in a time of need, but just not in a time of need, even when we don't need. He wants that one-on-one relationship with us. But as we go to God and we say, Lord, get me out of here. Lord, get me out of here. Okay, well, he'll get us out of there. But guess what? In order for us to maintain our freedom, there are some things that we're going to have to change as well. There are some things that we're going to have to adjust as well. There are some things that we can no longer be a willing participant to. If you know that God has set you free from smoking cigarettes, but guess what? Until you are all the way in the clear, it might be a year from now. Don't go hanging around people who smoke cigarettes, because they're going to offer you one. And guess what? Before you know it, now you're going to be back smoking cigarettes again. When you ask God to set you free, now that he set you free, you put yourself right back in the same situation. See, he gives us choice and free will, and so we have to make sure that we make the correct choices so that we can maintain our freedom. If we know we're struggling with pornography, don't go to the strip club. If we know that we are struggling with pornography, reset your phone so that stuff don't keep popping up. If you know you are struggling with addiction, don't go out there late at night on the corner, because you know what they're doing. Come on. These are things that we have to adjust on our end so that we can maintain our freedom, because God is more than able and willing and capable. He will do it. He will set you free. But are you willing to do what it takes to maintain your freedom? That's my word for today. Is that all these situations that we are begging for God to get us out of, let's make sure that we are also adjusting the things that we do on our end so that we can maintain freedom. As the scripture said, it gave you a sequence. Christ has come to set us free. And then we have to stand firm to make sure that we do not let ourselves be burdened again. It's a two-step process. We have to do something. God does something. He sends us his son to set us free, right? And then we have to do something. And we have been begging God for the last 5 years to get us out of that toxic relationship. Well, once you get that woman or that man out of your house, look, do what is necessary. Change them locks. Put that man or that woman on the block list. Go your way. Cut ties. Stop going over there hanging with his family, because the more you hang with his or her family, guess what? He's going to pop up, and now you're back again in the same thing that you asked God to set you free from. That is my word for today. Let's make sure that we are doing what is necessary to maintain the freedom that Christ came to give us. I love you. I'm Grace Amber. Happy Monday. I hope everybody has a wonderful day. I will be right back on tomorrow with another word.